My name is Andrew, and this is Rogue Wrenching. Today we're going to be talking about getting started as an automotive technician from a tooling perspective. I did a video on, what's the best ratchet. I'll link it right there. But there's a bunch more tools that you need to have if you're getting into this industry as a professional. So how do you build up your tool collection? It's definitely intimidating for people just getting into the industry when you talk to a technician and they've got $30,000 in tools and you're looking around going, dude, I'm barely making minimum wage here. How in the world am I ever going to get to that point? And it's really tempting when you can get on, Snap-on truck and spend a bunch of money in tools for $100 a week. That sounds like an easy, shortcut to the top. But friendly reminder from somebody who's done it, there are no shortcuts in this game. There's just not. So if you're looking for a shortcut, I don't know. Don't get into this industry because you're not going to find it here. So, tools for the starter automotive technician, or just kind of getting going. All the shops that I've worked in, borrowing a tool is not something that is like frowned upon. So if you're like, shoot, I don't have, a 21 millimeter hex socket, I don't know, something weird. If you don't have a tool, it's not frowned upon for you to go, hey Mike, and there's always a mic. I don't care where you work, there's always a mic. Hey Mike, can I borrow your whatever it is? And so borrowing tools is not something that is really frowned upon. What is frowned upon is not buying your own tools. So for example, if you keep borrowing my 3/8 ratchet, assuming I let you borrow it, which honestly I probably would because I'm a nice guy, I'm willing to loan tools out when they're taken care of properly. But there's kind of a method to the madness as far as picking what tools to buy. And my advice would be, if you're starting from zero, you're starting from scratch, you have nothing, no tools at all, and you just got hired, where do you start? And what I would recommend you start with is Home Depot sells like a 200-piece kit. It's got some wrenches, it's got a bunch of sockets, a couple of ratchets, some miscellaneous stuff like that. It's $100. That'll kind of get you started with a baseline of some of the basic stuff that you need to do this job. And then the way that I figure out what tool to buy next, even as I've been doing this for almost 6 years now, the way that I figure out what tool to buy next is, what am I borrowing the most? So, with every time I've changed jobs, there's been a little bit different, of what I'm working on. I went from working as a mobile mechanic to working in a light diesel repair shop, and then from that to an automotive shop. And so there's a little bit of difference in tooling and what you need. And so what I did was I said, I'm gonna wait 1 month and I'm not gonna buy any tools for a month. And I'm just gonna see what am I borrowing the most and start buying those tools. So, figure out what you're borrowing and then start buying those tools. They don't have to be the same brand. There's lots of different places you can buy tools. You can buy tools off Amazon, there's Home Depot, there's Harbor Freight, lots of different options, many of which are good options for just starting out. But, it's important that you don't put yourself into debt to buy tools to do the job. So whatever tools you end up buying, you need to make sure you can afford them. That's why I suggest, $100, you can get started out, and that'll give you kind of a basic kit just to get you going. So buy the tools you're borrowing, be smart about how you're buying them, ask questions. If, we had a guy years ago, and I kept borrowing his 1/2-inch impact when I was first starting out, and he had it was an air cat, which is, you can get it on Amazon, $150-ish. And I said, dude, you've been using this professionally, do you like this tool? Because it was not a Snap-on, it wasn't a name brand, it was a, kind of an Amazon special. And he said, dude, this thing has been great, I've used it for years. So that's the kind of questions that you want to ask as you're starting out in this trade. you know, figure out what are you borrowing, and then what's the best buy to get you into that tool. And when you're buying tools, the other thing to remember, and I didn't know this, is if you need, you know, for me, I use long T40 and T45 Torx for 6-liter injectors. And I went onto my Snap-on truck because that was the only option that I thought I had at the time. And I said, I need these 2 bits. And he sold them to me, which was great, but Snap-on sells that as a kit, and I basically bought half of a 7-piece kit, and I only bought 2 pieces. So, you know, look and see if what you're looking for comes in kit form. You know, if you keep borrowing a 15mm socket, buy the set within reason. You know, for me, I used a 15mm 3/8 drive chrome wobble socket for one job on a 7.3, and that was it. I've never really needed any other 3/8 drive chrome wobble, so I bought just the one that I needed. So that's kind of my advice, is figure out what you're borrowing the most, buy that, but when you're doing that, you know, figure out what's the best value as you buy tools. And if you do that, you can build up your tool collection without going into debt, and that's the way to do it. Debt-free, good quality, slow and steady wins the race. It's a slow accumulation of tools over time, not overnight. We'll see you next time.